welcome to this edition of Cuss N Discuss. I'm your host, Steve Cutie. Today we have Flynn Stewart and Ginger Duke. Today's topic will be Herman from Blanchard, Louisiana, asking about what are our thoughts on the 4.6s selling to Hollywood. So, who wants to start?
I'll start.
Okay.
I think it's fine, I guess. They promised that they would keep it all together and keep it as a working ranch. But I don't know why the heirs all think they have to sell that and get out of it when they could hold it. All they have to do is do whatever they do and cash their check every month that comes into them. But that's another story, I guess. The 4.6s, as you know, it's a big place, and it's got a huge horse operation, a horse breeding operation run by Dr. Glenn Blodgett, and who's a friend of mine, and they do good. Dr. Blodgett also treats lots of other ranches around that. He treats their horses and all of that, and there's lots of ranches in that country. If you've never been to Guthrie, Texas, you ought to go out there just to see, number one, the 4.6s, and go by the 4.6s store and just look at all of the souvenirs that are available there. But I don't know, like I say, I don't know why they have to split it up or why the heirs wanted to sell it. I just think the history of it is worth more than anything.
What do you think?
I don't know anything about the heirs or anything like that, and I've been out to the 4.6s. I've had friends that bought 4.6s horses, and like you said, they could still take their horses to Dr. Blodgett and he'd check them out, if they had any issues with them. I mean, I'm glad that, because I guess what we've heard is that they're going to keep it running the same, and I definitely believe in preserving. I feel like that's Texas history and heritage, and I definitely promote and like that they're going to keep it a working ranch and not split it up and sell it off as, make subdivisions and things like that. So, I mean, I'm obviously a very proud Texan and glad that they are gonna keep it as a whole and not break it up.
I don't think there's any danger from splitting it up into subdivisions out there.
Yeah, of course. I mean, nobody wants to live in Guthrie, right? Nobody wants to live out there, so it's safe.
The population of the county is like 200.
Yeah.
And one time, a guy from Florida was in here, and we were going, I'm going to take him to 4.6s to a sale. And we stopped at Benjamin. I always stop. That's just part of my deal when I go out that way. And this man asked me, he looked around and he said, "Is that a courthouse?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "This is the county seat?" And I said, "Well, yes, sir." And he said, "Why?" And I used a little poetic
Justice
there. And I said, "Well, because it's the biggest county in the town." It's not the biggest county in the town, but anyway, I used that anyway. Right. So he said, "Really?" So then we go on and we get to Guthrie, and we're going through Guthrie, and he says, "Is that a courthouse?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Why?" Oh, he said, "I know, it's the biggest town in the county." I said, "No, it's the only town in this county."
Right.
And that's why it's the county seat. But I don't think there'll be any subdivisions built out there.
No. I mean, I'm glad, because I think weren't y'all mentioning that they were going to keep it open to the public for as long as they're not filming.
Yes.
You can still go out and stay and take. I guess they kind of have that 4.6s experience.
Yes.
And they'll still keep that available for the public, which, I mean, like I said, I love the Texas heritage, and I feel like that's just a big part of it. So I'm glad that they're gonna keep that open for people to enjoy and learn about.
Yes.
I mean, think about it as with Hollywood and being a brand, and you know, Taylor Sheridan has helped the Reining Horse Association, right, with putting a ton of money in, and the Run for a Million and the TV shows that went with it, and then was it the Last Cowboy, I think, or whatever that one was called. I think they put in $150,000 for the cow horse,
Yes.
kind of on the same deal. You know, he's got the #1 show on, I don't think, cable, however you want to look at it. I don't know, I don't watch TV, so I've not seen an episode of it, I've heard. But, you know, Yellowstone. So, I mean, what better way, I mean, when you can have the ultimate movie set.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, like, so I think the good thing with what they've put into the Western sports right now, and then they've got the little spin-off series, I guess, I don't know what the name of it is, but something with the 4/6s. So, I mean, now you own one of the most legit Western TV sets that you could own.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
It's not in Hollywood. You can run it as a ranch. And I think what we'll end up seeing, and maybe I'm wrong, but what we'll end up seeing is I think there'll be more Westerns, right? Like when you see like, you know, Tombstone and all those movies, because now you have a guy that has the passion and the want to and the love for the Western aspect of things, right? And that living. And then you take the brand, which is iconic with the 4/6s, which is just like the King Ranch, right? Like I wouldn't be surprised just with the connections with Hollywood, right? If there doesn't become a 4/6s edition truck, right? Like the King Ranch truck.
Yeah.
And then all the, you know, all the TV opportunities and all the things that go with it. I mean, I think is going to be a real boom for what goes on.
Yes.
And, you know, I mean, you know, I don't say God help us, but you know what I think about living farther than what I live west, because there's nothing out there. But I mean, can you imagine that there will be some kind of a tropical paradise in Guthrie, Texas? You know, because think, if these actors are coming where they need to stay,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
And they're not going to be shuttling them back and forth to other towns.
No,
you know what I
that's
mean?
right.
They already have an airport and a runway, so those guys can get in out there. I bet you it won't be too many years that there'll be a little bit bigger town.
Oh, yeah.
And there'll be stores and there'll be some hotels, and you know, the 4/6s supply house isn't going to be the only gig in town, right? It's going to be just selling souvenirs, and that's going to be it. So I mean, you know, in my opinion, for whatever you think it's worth, whether you like it or you don't like it, I mean, I think it's just, for the way things are right now, I mean, it's a perfect opportunity to help horse trainers and anybody in the Western lifestyle, because I mean, that's putting it out in front of the mainstream population week in, week out, right, with these TV series. And I mean that's pretty hard to beat it. You know, when you can have reiners and cow horses out there on that kind of a stage, makes people want to get into it, right? And just because you don't live in a place where you can have horses doesn't mean you don't have the money to have horses somewhere else and still be able to enjoy it. So I mean, to me, I think it's a good thing, and you know, kudos to him for making it all happen. And you know, I mean, when this whole thing started and he had the idea, right, he's like, hey, I want to shoot this TV series called Yellowstone. And, you know, there's probably a bunch of his buddies like, yeah, that's a great idea. You know what I mean? You're back in their mind thinking, how's that going to work? You know, and now look at what it's kind of came into, you know. I mean, now he's going to have the Western market cornered. And, I mean, there's just no way around it. So, I mean, you know, again, kudos to him. Great job. You know, I hope he keeps doing it, and you know, some money trickles down my way.
Sure.
And you know, we can make it all work. You know, because this is going to benefit everybody. So I mean, if you're a hater, you're a hater, right? Because people are going to hate you regardless of what you do, good or bad. So yeah. Anyway, so that's a good one. So you can let us know whether you agree or disagree. Make sure that you put it in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe what we're doing on YouTube for Cuss N Discuss. If you got any topics that you would like to send in, be sure and let us know, and we'll try and get them covered. So, as always, I'm Steve Kutie, and we'll catch you on the flip-flop.